Hello everyone, this is Hari Priyanka. I'm from Impulse Coaching Institute. So இதில் ஒரு set of videos நம்ம பண்ணியிருக்கோம் about comprehension that has come in CSAT. CSAT is nothing but Civil Service Aptitude Test. அது வந்து உங்களுக்கு prelims one of the papers in UPSC. So comprehension covers part of English, general English and CSAT. So maths and general English ரெண்டுமே இருக்கும் CSATல. அதில் இங்கிலீஷில் நம்ம comprehension part நம்ம கவர் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். காம்ப்ரிஹென்ஷன் இங்கிலீஷ் அண்ட் மேத்ஸ் இருக்கிறதுனால வந்து ரெண்டுமே வந்து நம்ம மேத்ஸ் மட்டும் பண்ணிட்டா போதும் அப்படிங்கிற ஆட்டிடியூட்லாம் வேண்டாம். லெட்ஸ் கிவ் ஈக்குவல் வெயிட்டேஜ் ஃபார் போத். லெட்ஸ் see which comes easy for us and let's just try it out. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ரீடிங் காம்ப்ரிஹென்ஷன் அப்படிங்கிறது ஆல்மோஸ்ட் எல்லா காம்படிட்டிவ் எக்ஸாம்ஸ்லையும் நமக்கு கேட்குறாங்க which means it plays a major role in your in testing your understanding ability, testing your logical analysis. இதெல்லாம் வந்து பண்றதுக்காக பண்றாங்க. பட் ரீடிங் காம்ப்ரிஹென்ஷன் உடைய டிஃபிகல்ட்டி ரேட்டிங் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா in different competitive exams it is different. ஸோ இந்த சிசாட்ல எவ்வளோ வந்து என்ன இன்டென்சிட்டியில கேட்டிருக்காங்க, அந்த கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எப்படி நம்ம அப்ரோச் பண்ணலாம், ஹவு டு ரிசால்வ், இதெல்லாம் எல்லாமே வந்து சின்ன சின்ன டெக்னிக்ஸ் மூலியமா, சின்ன சின்ன ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் மூலியமா we are trying to explain. We have a few sets of videos. நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா சிசாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் காம்ப்ரிஹென்ஷன்ல they have classified comprehension into 3 categories. One is implicit statement, the other is critical reasoning, and the third is reading comprehension. Implicit statement and critical reasoning pathina, they are just two small topics, but androda understanding irukela reading comprehension will look better. You can easily approach it when you know what is implicit and what are critical reasoning. So இதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு even that we have segregated those topics and we have made an individual video about each topic in detail. So இதெல்லாம் நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா anybody who's preparing for CSAT will definitely get through comprehension part. அந்த அளவுக்கு details நம்ம கொடுத்திருக்கோம். So nothing to worry, you just take a note and a pen, make notes of whatever is discussed. Definitely உங்களுக்கு exams முன்னாடி ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். And any other doubts regarding comprehension while going through the videos or while working out or while when you sit and manually work out, number any difficulties or complexities irundhalu, you can very well comment below. Definitely naanga adhe address பண்ணுவோம். So this is all about the videos that I'm going to do. Anything let me know and let's get started with implicit statements. ஸோ நம்ம இப்போ இம்ப்ளிசிட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ்னா என்னன்னு பார்க்கலாம். அதனுடைய ப்ரீவியஸ் இயர் சிசாட்ல கேட்ட கொஸ்டின்ஸ் அண்ட் ஆல்சோ ப்ராக்டிஸ் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வச்சிருக்கோம். லெட்ஸ் டிஸ்கஸ் தட் இன் டீடைல். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து இம்ப்ளிசிட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ்னா என்ன? இம்ப்ளிசிட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஆர் நத்திங் பட் த மெசேஜ் தட் இஸ் கன்வேட் இன்டைரக்ட்லி. ஓகேங்களா? எனிதிங் தட் இஸ் கன்வேட் டைரக்ட்லி ஆர் கால்ட் எக்ஸ்பிளிசிட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ். எனிதிங் தட் இஸ் கன்வேட் இன்டைரக்ட்லி ஆர் கால்ட் இம்ப்ளிசிட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ். ஸோ டெஃபினேஷன் வைஸ்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, a conclusion drawn is implicit if it follows from the data given in the passage. Follows from the data அப்படின்னா இந்த டேட்டால இருக்கிறது என்னவோ அதனுடைய indirect message தான் implicit தவிர there can never be an added assumption or an added conclusion சும்மா randomly கொடுத்துற முடியாது. It should always follow the data given in the passage. And also there shouldn't be any ambiguity or doubt. Ambiguity or doubtனா என்ன? உங்களுக்கு ஒரு part of the sentenceல இது வந்து நம்ம பேசேஜ்ல கொடுக்கலையே அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சுன்னா then that is not explicit. Sorry, that is not implicit. Because அவங்களாம் ஆட் பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க இல்லை ரிமூவ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். Just see to that the given passage and the implicit statement should actually relate to each other completely. அவ்வளவுதான். Implicit statements are those that are suggested in the passage but not stated directly. So these are the keywords to identify what are implicit statements. இதனுடைய பேசிக் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்க்கு வச்சுக்கலாம். அண்ட் லெட்ஸ் லுக் இன்டு தி எக்ஸசைஸ் மாடியூல். எப்படிலாம் கேட்பாங்க, வாட் கேன் பி த பாசிபிள் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் இன் திஸ் டாபிக்னு டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணலாம். இப்போ இங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னா there are 3 conclusions drawn from the main statement. Choose the option that states the ones that are implicit. சரிங்களா? 1 in every 5 driving licenses in the city of Mumbai is a fake. இதுதான் வந்து given statement. இதனுடைய பாசிபிள் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் என்னென்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்கன்னு பார்த்தா, first option, it may be easy to procure fake driving licenses in Mumbai. Okay. Second option, license holders bend rules in order to be able to drive in Mumbai. Third, all people holding fake licenses were arrested at the same point of time or the other. One easiest rule to get through this is eliminate the irrelevant sentence first. Okay, irrelevanceன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த த்ரீ ஆப்ஷன்ஸ்ல எனக்கு ஆப்ஷன் த்ரீ தான் இமீடியட்டா தோணுது. பிகாஸ் இங்க ஆல் பீப்புள்னு சொல்லி ஜென்ரலைஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஆல் பீப்புள் இன் மும்பை டோன்ட் ப்ரொக்யூர் a fake license. Okay, or all people holding fake licenses are not discussed in the given statement. That is more important. You cannot take anything for granted. இதுல என்ன கொடுத்துருக்கா அதுல பாசிபிள் இன்ஃபரன்ஸ் என்னங்கிறத தான் நம்ம சூஸ் பண்ணணுமே தவிர லெட்ஸ் நாட் ஆட் எனி அசம்ஷன்ஸ் ஆஃப் our own or the given statement shouldn't hold any extra part. அப்படி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆப்ஷன் பாருங்க. It may be easy to procure fake driving licenses in Mumbai. இங்க பாசிபிலிட்டியை தான் சொல்லியிருக்கோம். Maybe denotes possibility. And that possibility is actually validating the first statement. Okay. So I think option 1 is right. Let's look into the option 2. License holders bend rules in order to be able to drive in Mumbai. I think bend rules is the reason for having a fake license. This also validates the given statement. According to me, 1 and 2 should be right. Let's look into the options if that option is there. I think option C has both 1 and 2. Yeah, so option C, both 1 and 2 are implied, is the right statement. Yeah, hope you understood the concept of implicit statement. This is how we are going to work the further module. Let's take a look at the second question. So let's get started with the second question. Man can only think of his ideal as a human being. When buffeted by sorrow in this world of disease and death, he is driven to desperation and helplessness. Then he seeks refuge with someone, relying on whom he may feel safe. So this is the question given, or the passage given. And now we are going to find which of the following statements is implicit. Okay. Option A, man feels threatened by the emotion of sorrow and unhappiness. So here, the clue word is going to be threatened. Option B, man is deeply influenced by his fellow beings. Here again the clue word is going to be influenced. Option C, an ideal human being is the one who deals with his sorrows. So probably they must be discussing about idealism here. So ideal is the key word. Option D, a man fears the consequences of fear and unhappiness. Again here the keyword is going to be consequences. So of all the four options, we have got the keywords. Okay, keywords are nothing but the main verb with which the sentence is taken forward. So in the given passage, what's the message that is conveyed? A man feels desperate and helpless, and he seeks refuge with someone relying on whom he may feel safe, which means he's quite threatened. Okay, he is not influenced, and the passage doesn't talk about idealism. So option B and C immediately can be eliminated because of its irrelevance. Got it? Option D, a man fears. Here fears is again another keyword which looks similar to the answer. But here the main keyword is the consequences of fear and unhappiness. Nobody is talking about consequences here. They're just discussing how helpless or how desperate a man will be at times of sorrow and unhappiness. So he's just threatened. He's not willing to take up that emotion. That is the exact message. That's the implicit message of the given passage. So most probably option A should be the right answer. Option D, however close it might look like, the consequences are completely out of context. So this is also a wrong option. This is how a basic approach of implicit statement is. Okay. Hope you're all on the same page. Let's get to the next question. Okay. Everyone loves watching animated movies. Yeah, everyone loves watching. Let's see what the question is like. Okay, option 1, animated movies are the only ones worth watching. No one loves watching any other movie whatsoever. So these two are the statements given, and we are going to find or validate if the given two statements are implicit or not. And let's go with the option accordingly. Everyone loves watching animated movies. That doesn't compare any movies with animated movies. I think we are clear with that part. In that case, animated movies are the only ones worth watching. Here, the statement is making animated movies superior to other movies. That's not the case here. I think if we are clear in that part, option 1 is eliminated. Option 2, no one loves watching any other movie whatsoever. Again, this for the same reason that we eliminated option 1, we are going to eliminate option 2 because here unnecessary comparison has come to context. So these two, however, tells animated movies are preferred. There is some comparison to other movies which is not actually in the given sentence. So what could be the possible option? None or implicit is the possible option. So basically, I personally have found this attitude when I see none as an option. Either we directly go for none without even validating, or we are scared to choose none. I think அது ரெண்டுமே வேணாம். None definitely when you know, please go for it. There's nothing wrong about it. And also don't be very assuming that none can never be an option. No, it could be an option also. Just make sure we are going by the concept and we are validating each and every statement with the options given, and let's choose the wisest. Yeah, that's it. Let's look into the next question. Among all the radio stations aired, Red FM is the most popular among the citizens of India. What are they saying? Among all the radio stations aired, Red FM is the most popular. That's the given statement. So let's see the assumptions or the inference is made, and let's see if they are true or not. People prefer Red FM to other radio stations owing to its broadcasting of diverse programs. Okay. Second option, other radio stations started replicating the shows of Red FM to garner attention from listeners. Okay. So first option looks very similar to that of the statement. But something is bothering me. Nothing but the reason. People prefer Red FM to other radio stations. This part, yeah, it's definitely validating the given statement because it is popular only because people prefer. There's no doubt about it. But the reason given for that preference is broadcasting of diverse programs. I think this part is not at all included in the context in the given statement, which means there is an assumption that has been put up in order to validate the given statement, which is not implicit. Okay. Implicit statements are implicit only if and only if the statement is completely validating the given option. Okay, so this cannot be an implicit statement because of the reason. Be very sure why you're eliminating the reason, and be very sure why you're choosing the right answer. Yeah, that is how you learn the concept. Second option, other radio stations started replicating the shows of Red FM to garner attention from listeners. Again, this is completely out of context. They've given some random assumptions, though it might be the consequence of the given statement. We are not going to talk about consequences here. We just see if they are implicit or not. Yeah, so option 2 can also be eliminated owing to the same reason because it's not in the context, it's out of context. So possibly none or implicit again is the right option for this question. Yeah. Hope you understand why we're choosing none, and hope you understand how we are validating to the given statement. That's it. Let's look into the next option. Sorry, next question. The region of Bengal is one of the most densely populated regions on Earth, with a population density exceeding 900 per square kilometer. Most of the Bengal region lies in the low-lying Ganges-Brahmaputra river delta or Ganges Delta, the world's largest delta. In the southern part of the delta lies the Sundarbans, the world's largest mangrove forest and home of the Bengal tiger. Okay, there are three statements made. First one, areas near river deltas have a very high population density. Okay, second option, dense population is required for the growth of mangrove forests. Okay, third, there are several river deltas smaller than the Ganges Delta. So in this question, rather than deleting the irrelevant one, I feel the third one sounds more appropriate. So you can go by that way as well. There are several river deltas smaller than the Ganges Delta. Here, near Ganges Delta, there is a word put up saying world's largest delta. So the world's largest delta itself is comparing the delta to other deltas in the world, which means there are several river deltas smaller than the Ganges Delta. Sounds very appropriate. So option 3 is definitely the right option. Let's look into options 1 and 2 and conclude. Areas near river deltas have a very high population density. There is nowhere a proof or evidence for the statement. However, it was just a statement saying the population density was high in that region. Yeah, so there's no actual proof for the first option that's given. So I don't think it's option one, because they've given a proof or a statement that is not discussed in the passage. So option one is not implicit. Dense population is required for the growth of mangrove forests. Nowhere in the passage they are dealing with this topic. Yeah, this is totally an assumption. And option two can also be eliminated because of the same reason. So, what could be the right option? It's only option three, and that option three is present in option D. Only three is implicit, is the possible answer for this question. Yeah, got it? So now we are very sure of how to eliminate the irrelevant or the assumed ideas given in the, given listed below, and how to choose the right answer based on validation. Yeah, let's look into the next question. The Indian Railways has introduced a weekly train Tejas, the first train which is loaded with high-end technology to ply between Mumbai and Goa. Okay, so there are two statements again. There will be a shortage of passengers who would opt for this train service. Okay. Other trains do not provide passengers with such amenities as this train does. Okay. Okay, there are three options. Third option is this train service was marred by incidents of looting. Okay. So in the first option, there will be shortage of passengers who would opt for this train service. I don't think so that in any way matches the given statement. They're just telling about Tejas, the first train which is loaded with high-end technology to ply between Mumbai and Goa. And the first statement is completely irrelevant, so just rule it out. It's very easy, right? Second one, other trains do not provide passengers with such amenities as this train does. And that's the reason they say it's the first train of its kind. Yeah, so this first train concept is validated by telling other trains do not provide. So I think the option two is very, very appropriate in validating the given statement. Let's get into option three. This train service was marred by incidents of looting. Okay, marred here refers to, it actually means affected by. Okay, I don't think any statement is, given validating this statement. Okay, they're not talking about the train service. They're not talking about looting. Nothing is affected here. They're just telling it's the first train of its kind with high-end technology. I think again option three is their own assumption, and we don't have to bother about it. So possible answer could be only option two. Let's look into the options. Yeah, option A says only two is implicit. I think that's the right option. You can go for it very confidently. So this is sixth question for you. Okay, let's look into the seventh. So this type of questions are, the statement is given and they've also given the conclusion. What are we supposed to do is say if the conclusion is implicit or not. Simple as that. Okay. Let's read the sentence. Let's read the conclusion. Let's validate and let's say if it is implicit or not. This again gives you a clearer picture to understand how implicit statements could be tricky. Yeah. Let's get into it. Okay. The sun as a solar energy source has a number of advantages. It is abundant, it is essentially inexhaustible, and it doesn't discriminate but provides equal access to all users. So the conclusion drawn is solar energy is the ultimate energy source. Solar energy is the ultimate energy source, and the sun as a solar energy has a number of advantages: abundant, essentially inexhaustible, and it doesn't discriminate, provide equal access to all users. I think when so many adjectives are put, and when they are telling that sun is the supreme energy, I think ultimate energy source means the same. So I feel solar energy is the ultimate energy source is implicit because all the adjectives given are validating that solar energy is the ultimate energy source. I think this is not a big deal. Yeah, now we are getting it to getting the point very easily, right? Let's look into the next question. Even though a majority of Indians are lactose intolerant, that is, they lack the gene that allows milk to be digested beyond childhood, the consumption of milk and dairy products in India outstrips milk production. Conclusion. Startups are harnessing technology not only to streamline supply, ordering, and distribution of milk, but they're also making sure dairy products from indigenous breeds get a leg up. Definitely, startups is not the topic that's discussed here. Yeah, are we sure about it? Whereas they're talking about lactose intolerant, and besides so many people who are lactose intolerant, the milk and dairy products are still outstripping. Yeah, this is what the given context is. They are they have included such points in the conclusion, but startups are completely new concept. Yeah, when you know that this is a new concept introduced, please go for it. It is not implicit. Yeah, this is very important to identify if it is implicit or not. If there is anything extra or anything assumed on the assumed, please don't go for it. However, it might look the same or it might look similar, very appropriate. Please don't go for it. Ninth, around the world, newspapers seem to be facing imminent extinction as a mass exodus to the internet causes their circulation to slump and their advertising revenue to collapse. Okay, conclusion. Newspaper reporter is a risky career choice a person could make. Okay, now this is quite tricky. If you see, they're talking about the newspaper industry, right? Newspapers seem to be facing imminent extinction. So newspapers could become extinct because they are on the verge of it. As a mass exodus to the internet causes the circulation to slump and the advertising revenue to collapse. So they've given the possible reason for it to become extinct. But the conclusion here is talking about newspaper reporter as a career choice as a person could make. So if you see, this is testing your logical ability. If the newspaper industry is really down, or if the newspaper industry is going to be extinct, why would a newspaper reporter career choice be a better choice? So it's quite a risky choice, right? Anybody who wants to become a newspaper reporter at the verge of extinction is going to be risky. I think though they have talked about different subjects, they are very much interlinked, and this could be the right conclusion for this statement. In likewise, this newspaper reporter is a risky career choice is validated with the above statement, and so this is an implicit statement. Yeah, quite tricky, but you just need to understand the logic behind that. Very easy. Just get what the statement is all about and try to associate. And if you find anything new, this is not new, but this could be the inferred meaning. Anything that is indirect is implicit, right? This is not directly told about newspaper reporter, but still, newspaper reporter is the one who's getting affected because of newspaper extinction. As simple as that. Yeah. So hope we are clear with this topic as well. So coming to question 10. Indian Idol has been one of the few reality shows on television that has been really successful. Conclusion. Several reality shows on television have been failures. So here the success is stated as one of the few reality shows on television has been really successful, which means there had been failures before this. Yeah, and of all the attempted shows, there were few which were successful, and one such show is Indian Idol. So conclusion says several reality shows on television have been failures, which could be true because there are few reality shows that were successful, and they're talking about the failure ones. So that could be several, and those are failures, which is validating the statement. And so it is option A, which are implicit. Okay. Coming to question 11. Many businesses today are using the internet to market their products among the youth. Okay. Conclusion. Businesses today think that the youth can be effectively reached using the internet. Okay, then let's go with the key points. Many businesses today are using the internet to market their products among the youth. Youth is a keyword here, and they are using internet to market their products. Conclusion says businesses today think that youth can be effectively reached using the internet. They're targeting the youth only because youth are effective. Simple as that. Yeah, youth are effective, and that's why they're targeting marketing strategies towards youth. So this is very much validating. So this is again an implicit statement. So it's very easy, right? When you are sure about the concept, I think you can easily go with the finding out if it is implicit or not. Okay. 12th question. Water is one of the essential factors required for life to be present on a planet. Okay. Conclusion says life cannot be present on a planet without water. This is again very easy. Here, the key word could be essential. Essential itself says without which you cannot. That's the meaning of essential, right? So here, life cannot be present on a planet without water. Here, cannot is validating essential, and without water, life is impossible is the conclusion, and which is very very appropriate. This is again an implicit statement. Yeah. Now we know the actual methodology to find if the statement is implicit or not. Let's go with the next set of questions. Okay. Question number 13. Parents protested against the management of the school for unceremoniously hiking the school fees. Correct answer is option 1. Parents were not aware of the abrupt hike in fees. 2. 30% of the parents were in favor of the increase in fee. So option 2 is completely irrelevant, right? There's no mention of percentage, there's no mention of favoring the increase of fee, nothing like that. So option 2 is definitely not the right option. Option 1, parents were not aware of the abrupt hike in fees. I think to validate this statement, you should be aware of the meaning of this word unceremoniously. Unceremoniously is nothing but abruptly, without knowledge or all of a sudden. That is the meaning of unceremoniously. So when you're aware of this meaning, probably option 1 looks very appropriate. Parents were not aware of the abrupt hike in fees. Sounds good. So which could be the right option? A, only one is implicit. That is the right option. This is how you validate. So option A is the right answer. Going for the next question. Okay, this is quite a big passage. Delhi has emerged as the capital of crimes against women in India, with an unparalleled spurt in such incidents in 2013 and 2014. Crimes against women, rape, molestation, and eve teasing registered a five-fold increase in 2013 compared to the same period last year. Delhi police told the Supreme Court on Wednesday the lack of support from passers-by was reported by most victims. Some of the victims were even blamed for the clothes they were wearing at the time of the incident. This resulted in further trauma and guilt for the victims. Which of the following is implied in the above passage? Option A. The narrow mindedness of the people of Delhi could be attributed as a major cause of the rising crimes against women. So, as we discussed earlier, let's go with the keyword so that it will be easy to eliminate or include in, while considering the options. So, here the possible keyword is narrow mindedness of the people of Delhi. Okay. Option B, the ethics and morality of the people of Delhi can be blamed for the crimes against women. Okay, so here again, ethics and morality is the keyword, and again, people of Delhi. Option C, the victims of women related crimes should take action against the people of Delhi. So they're talking about victims here. Victims of women related crimes should take action against the people of Delhi. Okay. Option D, the victims of women related crime suffer because of the preconceived notions of the crowd. So again, they're talking about victims here, and the reason for their suffering is told as preconceived notions of the crowd. So easily you can eliminate two options because this passage is talking about the people of Delhi and their least botheration towards victims and their sufferings. Yeah. So option C and D are prioritizing victims over people. So option C and D can never be the right answer. So eliminated because of its irrelevance. Option A and B, I think they are very close. Yeah. Option A talks about the narrow-mindedness of the people, and that is told as a major cause of the rising crimes. Okay, that's actually dealt in the passage. Option B is again talking about ethics and morality of the people of Delhi can be blamed for the crimes against women. Here, the only difference between these two is narrow-mindedness of people of Delhi or the ethics and morality of people of Delhi. You should be aware of the meaning of what is narrow-mindedness. Narrow-mindedness is you're not being broad-minded. You're not empathizing with anybody else. You are more selfish. You are more looking for yourself. That is being narrow-minded. Or you're not open to others. Yeah. Whereas ethics and morality is something completely a different topic, and I don't think that is dealt here. It is the narrow-mindedness of the people. Okay, how will you validate that? Here they say the lack of support. So the lack of support from passers-by, that is the narrow-mindedness of people and not ethics and morality of the people. So this is how you validate, and with that validation, I go for option A and not option B. So you are choosing the right answer based on the words that are quite similar in the passage and the options. Yeah, so option A is the right answer. So these are the questions. The following two questions are already asked in the CSAT papers. So let's discuss that also, so that it gives a complete closure of implicit statements. And I hope with this you must be clear of how to approach implicit statements, how to infer meaning from the passage of statements that's given. Yeah. Okay. Last two questions. 15th one. In a democratic state where high degree of political maturity of the people obtains, the conflict between the will of the sovereign lawmaking body and the organized will of the people seldom occurs. Okay. What does the above passage imply? In a democracy, force is the main phenomenon in the actual exercise of sovereignty. Force is the main phenomenon. That's the key word. Option B. In a mature democracy, force to a great extent is the main phenomenon. Is the in the actual exercise of sovereignty. Okay. Again, they're talking about main phenomenon as being the force here. In a mature democracy, use of force is irrelevant in the actual exercise of sovereignty. In a mature democracy, force is narrowed down to a marginal phenomenon in the actual exercise of sovereignty. So if you're if you are knowing the meaning of this passage, I think you can easily point out the right answer. Here they say in a democratic state, the conflict will be less. Okay, the conflict between the will of the sovereign lawmaking body and the organized will of the people seldom. Here, the only tricky thing is you should have been knowing the meaning of seldom. Seldom means rarely. It doesn't mean never. I think this is quite tricky because everybody tends to take the other meaning. Seldom here refers to rarely. It's not just here, everywhere. It is rarely, and it is not never. In that case, option C, in a mature democracy, use of force is irrelevant. Force is rarely, force is rarely employed between the lawmaking body and the people. That's the given statement. Here's the force is irrelevant is completely it's a strong statement, and it doesn't even include this rarely segment, which means option C cannot be the right answer. Okay, let's come to option A. In a democracy, force is a main phenomenon. Definitely not. Here they say the force is less. That's actually the message of the passage. The force between the lawmaking body and the people is less, and that is when you call it as a mature democratic state. So option A is eliminated because it conveys the opposite meaning. In a mature democracy, force to a great extent is the main. I think they put the same sentence in a different way. Again, this is eliminated because force is not the great or the main phenomenon. Okay, whereas option D, in a mature democracy, force is narrowed down to a marginal phenomenon in the actual exercise of sovereignty. Yeah, it's narrowed down. It's less. That's the actual point. So undoubtedly, it's option D and not A, B, or C. Hope we are clear with this. And please see that how tricky a word can be. If you don't know that this word means rarely, and if you take never for this seldom, you would definitely go for option C. This is how tricky it is. Be sure even the smallest words could be tricky. Just go through it once or twice at times. Yeah, that's it. Last question on implicit statements. What climate change will undeniably do is cause or amplify events that hasten the reduction of resources. Competition over these diminishing resources would ensue in the form of political or even violent conflict. Resource based conflicts have rarely been overt and are thus difficult to isolate. Instead, they take on veneers that appear more politically palatable. Conflicts over resources like water are often cloaked in the guise of identity or ideology. Okay. What does the above passage imply? Resource-based conflicts always politically are motivated. There are no political solutions to resolve environmental and resource-based conflicts. Environmental issues contribute to resource stresses and political conflict. Political conflict based on identity or ideology cannot be resolved. So again, option D can easily be eliminated because political conflict is based on identity or ideology. I think that's not the point at all. That's completely out of context. Got it? So option D is eliminated at first. Option A. Option A. Resource-based conflicts always politically are motivated. No, that's also not the point that is discussed. Yeah. So option A is still not validating the given passage. There are no political solutions to resolve environmental and resource based conflicts. I think we are not talking about the solutions here. We're just talking about, the actual facts. No, we are not talking about the solution side here. Option C, environmental issues contribute to resource stresses and political conflict. Yeah, this is the overall, this line actually sums up the passage. They say climate change will amplify events that hasten the reduction of resources. This resources, environmental issues contribute to resource stresses and political conflict. Political conflict and resource stresses are actually discussed, and the fact that constitutes these two are environmental issues. I think that clearly sums up the passage. So it's undoubtedly option C and eliminate option B. That's it. We are done with implicit statements. I think we are very sure of how to eliminate and choose. This is how it's going to be, even with our reading comprehension. Let's just know the basics and get started with the RC. Before RC, let's go get into critical reasoning. Again, that is your logical ability. We'll explore it the same way. Practice questions in a separate module, and CSAT questions, the questions that has already been asked, that will be dealt separately. So let's just work it out together in order to get a better and clearer picture. Yeah. Thank you so much. Any doubts on implicit statements, please comment below.